Governor Wes Moore. A lot of people early on were saying that, social equity is dead. The social equity and the philosophy behind it are well-meaning, but any state that leads with those tenets is doomed to fail. And Wes Moore made a excellent announcement yesterday that the state of Maryland has officially surpassed $1 billion in sales.
Is that really good news?
Yeah, it is. It is good news because they said it was going to fail under him. He pushed forward the measure, got it done, and he is doing this thing with a social equity mindset and a social justice foundation. This is how you get shit done. And lo and behold, it took a black man to do it.
Oh,
so let's
boy.
talk about it.
Here we go. Here we go.
The man
I smell all the gaslight.
The man who just might be Kamala Harris's vice presidential pick.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Hey, man, you got Obama times two. Are you scared? Are you all scared? Are y'all scared? Anyway,
Nobody's scared.
No.
So Maryland Governor Wes Moore announced Wednesday that his state's legal cannabis sales surpassed $1.1 billion since legal sales began on July 1st, 2023. Since Moore signed legal cannabis into law, adult use sales totaled more than $700 million and medical sales totaled nearly $400 million. Our new adult use cannabis market is not only generating extraordinary economic activity, but also helping us build new pathways to work, wages, and wealth for all, said Moore in a press release. Making Maryland more competitive means ensuring that everyone can reap the benefits of Maryland's economic growth. This important milestone proves how our administration continually and repeatedly honors our deep commitment to that mission. First 9 months of legalization pulled in around $41.4 million in revenue from a 9% tax on recreational cannabis purchases, Comptroller Brooke Learman's office said last week. Around a third of that revenue is placed into a state fund that is then distributed to communities based on how heavily they were impacted by cannabis prohibition. The stated goal of Maryland's cannabis reform law has been to undo the negative impacts of war on drugs and to change the government's campaign to curb drug abuse through criminal enforcement and incarceration of millions of Americans, a practice that disproportionately affected Black, Latino, and other racial minorities. The criminalization of marijuana harmed low-income communities and communities of color in a profound way, said Moore when he signed the legalization bill into law. We want to make sure that the legalization of marijuana lifts those communities now in a profound way. 1 year into cannabis legalization, the Maryland Cannabis Administration, the Office of Social Equity, and the cannabis industry of Maryland continue to grow and evolve, noted the governor's office in their press release. Some of the agency and industry highlights in Maryland for the past year include administering of the first cannabis business licensing round in the nation that was reserved exclusively for social equity applicants. Look at that. Take notes, New York, Kathy Hochul, and establishing a first in the nation cannabis workforce development program and Moore's expungement of 175,000 cannabis convictions. I'm proud of the efforts of the Cannabis Administration staff who worked in collaboration with our governmental and industry partners to implement a safe and equitable market in Maryland, while simultaneously building a new regulatory agency, said Maryland Cannabis Administrator Director Will Tilburg. As exciting as the past year has been, we expect the year ahead to be even more so as new social equity businesses bring their passion and innovation to the Maryland market, end quote. So just big congratulations to Maryland, a very, very small state, doing big things outside of DC, doing big things just south of Pennsylvania, which hasn't gotten their shit together, just south of New Jersey, who's unrolling their stuff, and most notably New York, who had a similar mindset in theory, but failed to do what Wes Moore did in practice. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News, America's #1 daily news for cannabis.
So, Rico, I'm willing to bet that the majority of this money all came from Virginia.
Do you have any proof behind that? Or is these just it's another Rasmussen poll?
It's just truth. It's just truth.
Truth with an F.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is so. If you know any background information on Wes Moore. Wes Moore, through the Robin Hood Foundation and the stuff that he did in New York prior to. He was a business mogul and did things with the elites, getting money from the elites and pushing them out to communities of color and underserved communities and doing good things before he became the mayor, the governor of Maryland. So he has a track record of doing this in the private sector before he became head honcho in Maryland. So I'm not really surprised that he was able to do it from a gubernatorial position. But I'm really, really glad that to see that this can be done. And it gives me faith in capitalism once again. You know?
Capitalism wins again. Is that what you're telling me, Rico?
In this instance, it can be done correctly.
Capitalism. I just want to make sure that everyone knows this. We want this special soundbite right here because Rico just said that capitalism wins.
I never said I wasn't. I said I'm an anarcho-capitalist, man. Yeah.
Well, it's managed capitalism, right? He's taxing, he's redirecting funds to underserved. Very impressive. I didn't know much about Wes Moore being over here on the West Coast. But yeah, I'm going to look into his background.
I see what you did there, Dr. T.
Yeah.
Wes Moore, West Coast. I see what you did there. That was cute.
You wouldn't notice.
Yes, that was good.
I was waiting for the next line to be like, they not like us.
Yeah. They're definitely not like us. That is for sure.
Gentrified Rico, yeah.
Well, if you look around at all the other governors and all the other programs, the one black governor, really put it together and I would say is the most successful out of any other program, above California for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe since Governor Moreland has done such a good job, maybe he'll direct his department to get into a Twitter beef with New York.
I don't think he's really about that though, man,
Why not?
Yeah.
I thought it's about, hey, like we created a model program. It's working here. Now this should be duplicated in other states. And so he should be, New York should be contracting with this guy.
I'm sorry, Jason, it's X. Please don't dead name it.
His career MO has been bringing the working class, organizing the working class using the elite dollars. So he's all about unifying
elite dollars.
Unifying.
This sounds like an AOC message.
Economically on the top and the bottom, unifying them and making it work. So redistribution of wealth is not always bad, Jason.
What's it called? Robin Hood what? Robin Hood what?
It's Robin Hood.
Just that's it?
Take from the rich, give to the poor.
Not Robin Hood Men in Tights, just Robin Hood.
No. I don't think Wes Moore would look great in tights. I don't have proof, but I think that would probably be a stretch. But
I'm gonna say silent on that one. Yeah.
You want to see him in some tights? You want to see him in some?
I don't want to see him in tights, but I'm not going to comment on a hypothetical of another man in tights. If he's not going to put it out there.
Whoa!
Wow. Okay.
I don't want to entertain that.
I mean, I think this is great news. I think it's nice to see a social equity program actually work, and I think other states could possibly take a little bit of note here. And I think, without the race baiting of Rico over here, I think that I don't care who did it. I love to see it happening, and I think that it's some wonderful news. And it proves that it can be done right. So everybody that yells at me and gets mad at me for social equity kind of being my platform and telling me it's a joke can kind of kiss Wes Moore's ass.
I would argue that it's not race baiting at all, because what is social equity designed to do?
90% of what you do is race baiting, Rico.
But I'm saying this story is not race baiting at all.
No. The way you put it, it's okay. It's not race baiting. I think that this is a great.
It's not what you say, Rico. It's how you say it, is what she's saying.
No, I'm just being gaslit by two Republicans right here on stage. But you know what? I'm flame retardant.
Cute.
Retarded?
We already know that.
See?
It's from all the CTS, huh?
All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My vocabulary is impeccable. You know what I'm saying?
Indubitably.
Yeah. Exuberant.
I mean, Dr. Mark, you're probably the closest one to Maryland out of all of us.
Geographically speaking.
Yeah, correct. Geographically speaking. Have you ever gone to Maryland and purchased cannabis?
Why would he?
I was on one of the original teams that got a license in Maryland.
Nice.
How you guys doing?
Social equity.
Yeah. So I work now, not a social equity group at all. Very wealthy, just casino owners, right?
Okay.
Basically got into this business, right? But yeah, I mean, the market there, I mean, let's put it this way, it's right next to DC, right?
Right.
So and DC is still messed up, right? But right on that Maryland DC border, I think most of my friends, most of the people I know, they all just go to the trap in DC.
Exactly. I'm with you on that because basically you can just self-certify in DC.
Yeah, and you could gift, and you know, in DC for a long time had those kind of farmers market kind of consumer clubs where you could buy a pair of glasses for $60, and then they hand you a little baggie with it.
It's like 15 days here, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think, it's hard to quantify because most of the Maryland suburbs, I mean, most of the population density in and around Maryland is right around DC. So it's kind of like, you know, again, same thing in New York, you know, are people going to leave the trap and, you know, I don't know, $30 or $40 quarters to pay a $60 or $80 quarter?
Nope.
That's been tested, and you know, I mean,
that's that's another reason.
I don't have a good feeling. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that's
and the other thing I can tell you, Jason, is I know for a fact that most of the operators in Maryland are lobbying against home grow. And I think
that makes
that's
sense.
a dead end, right?
Well, a lot of them too are the MSO corporations who don't want home grow, who want protectionist marketplaces to keep prices artificially high. So yeah, that makes sense.
Right, but the liberal interpretation of home grow basically makes trap available, right? So
the liberal interpretation
like,
of home grow.
I have adults underneath one roof, and each adult could have 6 plants. Now the guy's got, you know, a whole bunch of plants that he could turn around for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I mean, doesn't make any sense, really.
Fair enough.
Well,
fair enough. We are going to keep. Congratulations, Maryland, and congratulations, Governor Moreland, for apparently doing something good for Weed for the People.
Doing the right thing.
Yes, and on that, we're going to roll right into a commercial after this happy story, and we'll be right back.